Fixez.com coming at you today with yet another disassemble. Looks like today we're going to be working on an Apple iPad 2. As always, before we get started with our repair, let's review our suggested tools. Plastic triangle opening tools. Small Phillips screwdriver. Plastic opening tools. A spudger. A heat gun or a blow dryer. We're going to show you how to change a series of parts out of the iPad. Before doing so, we need to show you how to peel back our front touchscreen. About 2 inches from the bottom on the left-hand side of the unit, we need to recognize that our ribbon cable for that front touchscreen is in this general location. And just to the right of the home button is where our Wi-Fi antenna is adhered to the bottom side of the touchscreen. So when we peel back our front touchscreen, let's be mindful of these 2 pieces as to not cause irreversible damage. Time to begin our entry into the iPad. Let's first start with our heat gun or blow dryer and begin to soften up the adhesive around the perimeter. About 1 to 2 minutes of the heat should suffice. Our triangle opening tools. Let's bring in our plastic opening tool, and you'll also notice in this video that we use a simple razor blade. We found that the razor blade is the easiest way to start the separation of the touchscreen from the iPad bezel. With your separation started with the razor blade, we can then bring in our plastic opening tool to continue the separation all the way around the perimeter of the iPad. As we work the opening on one side, you'll notice we fit a triangle opening tool into the gap. This is to keep the adhesive from coming back in touch with itself as we work ourselves all the way around the unit. Notice as we go from each side, again, another triangle tool goes into place. You'll notice in our video, we used our spudger to continue peeling the Wi-Fi antenna off the bottom side of the touchscreen before completely opening up the unit. When we finally did crack the unit open, we peeled the touchscreen back as if it was a book to make sure we didn't put too much tension on its ribbon wire and cause damage to it. Notice the LCD and how it's mounted with 4 Phillips screws. Let's now take our small Phillips screwdriver and remove these screws so that we can free the LCD for removal. Prying up lightly with our plastic opening tool and peeling out the LCD, we can lay it now on top of our touchscreen so that we can disconnect the cable from the motherboard. Our LCD cable has a locking socket. It's a metal style lever that needs to be flipped up in a 90-degree fashion. With the lock released, we can now remove the ribbon cable and lift the LCD completely from the iPad. Let's bring our attention now to the touchscreen connections. We have 2 locking sockets. We need to flip the tabs on and release. And then we can remove the ribbon cable and remove the touchscreen completely from the iPad. Let's work on removing the Wi-Fi antenna from our iPad. We first have to remove the dock port assembly by disconnecting its single plug and removing the 2 Phillips screws that secure it into place. Our Wi-Fi antenna is secured with 4 Phillips screws. Let's go ahead and remove those. You'll notice that the plug for the Wi-Fi antenna is hooked to the bottom side of our motherboard, which we need to remove to fully disconnect and remove the Wi-Fi. We have 2 cables that need to be addressed, the first being the plug connection for the speaker assembly, and then we have a locking ribbon cable over on the other side of the motherboard for the headphone jack assembly. A total of 5 Phillips screws secures the motherboard into the iPad, 2 on either side of the board, and then a single one at the battery connection. Let's go ahead and remove those. We can use a plastic opening tool or a spudger to lift the motherboard out of the body. With the motherboard removed, you're going to notice the Wi-Fi antenna still connected to it. Simply unplug its single connection and remove it for replacement. All of the parts and tools you've seen today in this video are available at www.Fixez.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.